The suit has dated back hundreds of years. The suit has signified status and class and power. When I was a young girl, I was fascinated by fashion. I wanted to be a fashion designer and really fell in love with the menswear aspect and the tailoring aspect. My dad had been so fastidious about his dress. He always wore a tie and a fantastic suit and a blazer, so it was there somewhere in the background. I went to college. I studied fashion, specialising in menswear. It was when I was at college I first discovered Savile Row.
Savile Row holds such prestige today because it's still synonymous with what it was always synonymous with, which is the very best tailoring that money can buy. There's no other concentration anywhere in the world that has quite that same allure. The story of the British suit can be taken back to Beau Brummell, who was this notorious Regency dandy at the end of the 18th century. He was this incredibly influential figure about town. And so this idea of a two-piece that matched and that was masculine really stemmed from him. It was Savile Row who really took that and ran with it.
You've got this beautiful street of these craft-based businesses really making the best quality clothing in the world. And I walked up and down the street and looked in the windows and thought, how do I get in the door and how do I make garments that good?
Clothes have stories, and there's no story that's more potent really than the story of British bespoke tailoring. More and more of us are obviously concerned about getting away from this idea of fast fashion, and there's nothing slower in the best sense than a great bespoke tailored suit. It's something that you're going to have with you for the rest of your life, and that really is how we should all be shopping.
I think a bespoke suit is a great way of expressing your personal style and creating that fantastic first impression. I started as an apprentice at Gives & Hawkes at No. 1 Savile Row, and really there my passion for bespoke tailoring came alive. I spent 15 years at Gives & Hawkes learning all these skills. When I started, there were women in the tailoring departments in Savile Row, but mainly behind the scenes. I didn't want to just be behind a work. I wanted to meet the clients and discuss their commissions. I thought I could do it. I knew I wanted to do it. There were always men in those roles. There's never women before. I just didn't ever let that be an issue, because for me, all I wanted to do was be a great cutter. When I became Savile Row's first female head cutter, it made me realise that there was more that I could do. That made me think about setting up a company. I'd love to define tailoring in my own way and really bring women in and create my own team. I think only now when I look back and reflect on it, do I realise what a big deal it was. I think at the time my gender wasn't going to stop me doing anything. And that inspired me on to really try and define my own way of working in my own business.
There is this incredible production chain in this country of really, really beautiful fabrics. And I believe it's a really important thing to do to invest in these often family-run businesses that are still adhering to the best traditional processes.
In my view, the best cloth to work with comes from mills in Yorkshire, Huddersfield specifically. They've been making cloth there for centuries. Some of those mills are the best in the world.
It's well regarded that Huddersfield is the town that gave the world luxury cloth, and Dugdale's have been at the centre of that cloth making industry since 1896. It's 125 years old this year, and we're fiercely proud. Dugdale is the last remaining independent cloth merchant in the centre of this town. Huddersfield is fortunate in its geology and geography. The rainwater on the Pennines falls on hard Yorkshire sandstone. The water teems away from the rock and picks up no impurities. When that is used to scour our wool, it doesn't impart any impurity into that. It's very rare. I think we're one of the very few places on the planet that has that capability.
I love the fact that we're creating something from a beautiful ingredient, a beautiful cloth, that's been woven in Yorkshire from the finest wool, with the finest process, the finest mills. And we're making those into almost walking works of art. And to be able to make something that you can look at the end of the day and go, yeah, we did a really good job there. It's very rewarding.
I think the suit has this endless capacity for newness and for wearability. You feel empowered, and especially a bespoke suit. What a sort of magic power, really, a suit is. It protects you, it empowers you. It is something in which you can wear to go into battle, even if the battle is just a rather fantastic cocktail party. British tailoring is linked to tradition, it's about tradition, but it's also incredibly important that it should be allied to modernity and innovation, and Kathryn is the personification of that.
Being a female founder in this great trade with this fantastic history, I really feel like I belong, and this is where I was meant to be. I hope to inspire more women to pursue their passions and their craft and not let anything get in their way.
Kathryn's extremely determined. You could see it right at the very beginning, very male-dominated world. She could stand up for herself. She was relentless with it, and that's why she is where she is today.
We all feel like custodians of this trade. We have to take it, talk about it and treasure it and create fantastic work and teach the next generation of tailors and cutters to have that custodianship. It's something that's a great privilege.